And I want you to forget everything you think you know. We're actually exploring a map for a journey of consciousness that, according to the philosopher Osho, what does it mean? But what if the answer isn't some fixed destination? What if it's the path itself? This framework offers a totally different way of looking at that ancient question.
And this quote right here, this is basically our North Star for this whole discussion. The core idea is that it's not about being a man, it's about becoming one. It's a journey of transformation. So let's start walking that path and see where it leads.
Now, this whole story, it doesn't begin with strength or power like you might think. It begins with innocence. And the first act is all about how that natural, original state gets buried under layer after layer of societal programming. It's kind of a three-step fall from grace. See, every man starts out as Adam, just pure, natural, living without all the guilt and the masks. But then society steps in, and that Adam becomes the victim, feeling totally crushed by all the rules and what's expected of him, always blaming someone else for his problems. And from there, just to get by, he becomes the robot. You know, efficient, respectable on the outside, but totally dead on the inside, just running programs he isn't even aware of. But here's where it gets really interesting. All that conditioning, it doesn't actually kill off a man's raw, natural instincts. Nope. It just shoves them deep down into the unconscious. This suppressed animal, all that energy, desire, and instinct, it doesn't vanish. It just waits. And this is what sets the stage for the next great internal conflict.
So in the second act of this journey, the man starts to wake up a little bit. He sees his mechanical life for what it is. But the moment he does, he's slammed with all this energy he's been repressing. And because he doesn't know how to handle it, he starts swinging, like a pendulum, between two wild extremes.
And you can see that conflict playing out right here. On one side, you've got the fire, the sexual maniac, completely obsessed with the very desires society told him were sinful. And on the other side, you've got the ice of the monk, running away from those exact same desires because he's terrified of them. But here's the real insight. Osho says they're just two sides of the same coin. Both are victims of that same repressed energy. Both are trapped, and both are totally incomplete.
So if both of those paths lead to a dead end, what's the way out? Well, the answer isn't to pick a side. It's not about choosing fire or ice. It's about walking the middle path. It's about integration, bringing the fire and the ice together to become whole. And that brings us to the third and final act, the solution. How in the world does a man unite these warring parts of himself? How does he actually find that wholeness?
The very first step, Osho says, is to embrace Eve, the feminine principle. And we're not talking literally here, but about an energy. The energy of love, intuition, of being receptive and vulnerable. For a man who's been conditioned to be all about action and logic, this is the missing piece of the puzzle. It's the key to finding balance.
And embracing that balance leads to Osho's ultimate ideal, Zorba the Buddha. Think of it this way. Zorba is the man of the earth. He loves life, dance, food, all the amazing earthly pleasures. Then you have Buddha, the man of the sky, deeply conscious, aware, meditative. The truly complete man doesn't choose between them. He doesn't sacrifice his joy for awareness or his awareness for joy. He becomes both, a synthesis of the two.
So what does that actually look like? What does it feel like to be a Zorba the Buddha out in the real world?
This is what Osho calls the master. And it's not some static endpoint you reach. It's a dynamic state of being. The master lives in the world with the total, grounded joy of Zorba, but also with the deep, silent consciousness of the Buddha. He's free. He is completely and finally whole. So you see, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. It's a map of consciousness, from the innocent atom to the programmed robot, through the swinging pendulum of extremes, and finally toward the integrated master. It's a journey we're all on, in one way or another. So the only real question left is, where are you?